the script is amazing. I mean, it's really, really, the ideas in it are very moving, actually. I mean, having the alien be, you know, the daughter of or the son of Ripley, and this whole kind of generational thing, and then eventually there's grandchildren running around, you know, and my character, my character's history, and what you find out about my character, is really, you know, is actually very kind of touching. I really like flipped out when I remember the day that they brought it up to me, you know, and I just, you know, they said, well, they figured out a way to bring Ripley back, and that they wanted me to play another character in it, and it was just like, and, you know, they were tentative. They thought I was going to go, are you crazy? I'm, you know, but it was like the opposite. I mean, I love these kind of movies.
Whom they want, and they already knew by that time that Sigourney Weaver and Winona Ryder were in the film. It was presumably part of some package, at least prior to Jean-Pierre being on the film.
Winona Ryder, everything was so easy for her, so easy. I remember one day, the new alien wasn't finished, and I tried to explain to her the appearance of the new alien. Winona, I'm going to tell you, he's white, he's tall, big, very impressive, and he's going to make ooh. And she looked at me and said, okay, Jean-Pierre, it's not necessary to explain to me. Tell me just faster or slower. It's necessary, you know.
The expressions, the expressiveness of the newborn, it's one of the most frightening, but yet feel for this. It's a real character in the movie. You understand it's not an alien. It's like a real character.
And she did a kind of different expressions, and everything was perfect at the editing room. She's so professional, so easy.
As a fan, I really, like, I was trying to steal things constantly. I have like alien goo at my house, and of course, you know, I mean, I have like action dolls from the alien movies. I'm like a real collector. And it's not just like a paycheck job for her. I mean, she really cares about the series and really cares about Ripley and how she's portrayed. And she had just stacks and stacks of notebooks that she kept from the first movie for like 20 years. You know, she had these stacks of notebooks, and she, you know, everything had to make sense. Every move that Ripley made, she would, you know, go and make sure that it made sense.
Is that female character, that strong female character.
I really got along with all the actors really well. It was really a great feeling of camaraderie, and certainly Sigourney was used to it because she had done that before, but I wasn't used to working with actors on that level where we were all running. It's like you really have to be bonded with everyone, and everyone was just really excited to be in the movie. I mean, every actor was like, can you believe that we're in this movie? You know, it was like the big thing on the set.
And I've stayed friends with a lot of the guys, which is rare also. Good people.
It was just like it was really natural, and it happened real fast. Everyone just kind of bonded. Because, you know, we started out with the underwater stuff, so we immediately just kind of clung together, you know, and got to know each other real well.
Well, Winona, I mean, certainly a fine actress, and I've worked with her a number of times underwater, even on Mr. Deeds. I believe that early in life, Winona had a near-drowning experience.
When she was young, she was almost noyée, I think, drowned.
She was 13 or 14 or something. And for her to have put herself in that position, even though she was extraordinarily timid, but to even have put herself in that position, to face that kind of fear, because there's no courage unless you face a fear. If you're not afraid, you're not courageous. You're just fool rushing in. She knew that there was a fear there, and she faced it anyway.
And for this film, she had to make the scenes underwater. It was a big challenge for her, and she did.
I was about 12 years old, and I nearly drowned, and I had to be resuscitated and everything, so I hadn't gone underwater since then.
Action. Straight up comes Winona, a beat, and then up comes Purvis, a beat, and we can take them right over here to there.
And I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, and so I talked to the studio about it, and I said, you have to like work something out where there's a double, and they said, oh, don't worry, there's always ways to work around that kind of stuff.
She would come up right like that.
And then when we got to it, because I had really short hair, there wasn't a lot of stuff that a double could do because you really see my face. So I realized I was really gonna have to do it. We had really great people helping us, but it's just very different. You do it in a pool and it's really easy, and you think this is gonna be a piece of cake, and then you get to the actual set, and I just remember the first day I had a complete anxiety attack, and I thought, there's no way they're gonna have to replace me. Somehow I thought they'd use a double and they'd just shoot like little shots of my face underwater, where I'd just like be able to stand up and get my breath and then go underwater and look scared. But no, I had to do it. I had to go underwater really deep. But we did go through training, and we had really great people helping us, but it's just very different. You do it in a pool and it's really easy, and you think this is going to be a piece of cake, and then you get to the actual set, and it was really difficult. Like I was probably the worst. You just have to like let it all go and float. Sigourney was very, very helpful. It was definitely tough, but it was way harder for some of the other actors, like Dominique and Gary, because they were strapped together, and Dominique was upside down the whole time. Water, like when it's kept for that long, things happen in the water that you don't want to know about, and when divers are down there all day, they don't hold it, if you know what I mean. It was pretty disgusting, and there was just like snot and phlegm floating by, and just really foul stuff. And plus there was like lettuce and like meat, and when all that stuff, it's like it stews when you shoot for weeks and weeks. It stews because they can't drain it and refill it with fresh water for you.
Myself, I survived. Winona survived.
It was like the worst experience of my life, hands down, I think. There were some times when, I wanted to throttle him, and I wanted him to just, there were like certain words that, it was frustrating. It was the first time that I'd worked with European directors before, but not anyone who didn't speak English. But he learned, and as much as he could, and I didn't find it a problem.
Darius and Jean-Pierre were going for this very dense quality to the air, so they had to have this smoke in the air all the time to give a translucency to the air. The
sets were all very smoky and hot, and so there was a lot of, there was crankiness, I'll admit, but because you couldn't have like air, because he really wanted that feeling of like stagnant, this smoky kind of sweaty, hot place. So he definitely created what the look he wanted by inflicting it upon us.
We actually went quite far with it and designed it as a possible set, matte painting, etc. But even that turned out to be too expensive.
I bet you're not too anxious to see them.
The green screen shot was actually the last bit of shooting the sort of main production schedule. And it was Ripley and Call crash landing in the snow. And basically there was a bit of dialogue. You sort of saw the ship just splatter in the snow. And they come out and they just sit there, and in the distance is a city. And they haven't gone to it yet. And the studio was really keenly amused with the idea that Jean-Pierre was French and that all of his sort of Frenchness could be tapped into. And one of the ideas, for instance, they had was why not crash land the Betty somewhere near dunes or something where all you see is part of the Eiffel Tower rising out of the sand, saying something about something, I don't know.